Okay. All right. So thanks y'all for showing up. Thanks y'all for joining in. And this particular backtest with Mide episode 2, we are going to be breaking down like Gbpusd, right? How I caught this particular trade and what I'll be expecting on this particular pair in coming weeks or even months, right? Okay, so here's the thing, right? We're just going to start from at least the monthly, right, and see the overall thing, because I just want to break down everything that happened or why I saw that actually make me take that trade. So in this case, I'm going to delete all of this drawing so I can just get a new ones, right? So I can get new ones. All right. So here's the thing, right? As you guys can see, this thing is disturbing. All right, so as you guys can see right here on Gbpusd, we are pretty much very bearish, right? It's a very bearish trend, right? From the monthly, all the way from the monthly, you guys can see that it's a very bearish trend, right? And even recently, we had a takeout of this monthly low right here, even though that was really weak, right? And we have no idea if the market is coming back there, but the market is just taking this one as a valid break. But I really don't think so, right? But then that's just the whole story finally. Let's just focus on the real current thing that the market is doing, right? So here right now on Gbpusd, we can see right here we're pretty much bearish, right? Because we had the market taking out this low right here. It took out this one too, right? It took out this one too, and then this one right here. The current low right here was just tends. We just tend to be the current low where we expect market to come if the market want to continue to respect this current bearish trend, right? All right, so basically what I think it's just leave the call and join back, right? I'm sharing my screen. Please just leave the call and join back if you can see my screen. I'm sharing everything. All right, so that's pretty much it on the monthly. So we jump into the weekly time frame right now, right? The weekly time frame right now tells us a whole lot of things because it's very structured now. It's now very clear, right? So basically, the part of interest that we mitigated are this one right here. I think we mitigated the supply, right? We mitigated that supply zone right there. This one right here, we mitigated the supply, right? Mitigation of that supply right here before the break of the structure, and this current bullish structure now is moving to mitigate this current supply zone right here, right? Because that's the unmitigated supply zone we have left in this whole thing right here. So we actually mitigated this one, and this was the last high. This was the last high that the market actually this was the last point market get to after this mitigation before the creation of the supply zone. So this will tend to be a protected high, basically, you get, for this supply zone. So this tends to be the next spot of interest, right? And this should be maybe our target, or where we expect the market to buy to. All right. Hey, what? All right. So so right here, this tends to be our target, right? We expect target to buy to before we expect bearish reactions or confirmations to confirm the bearishness of this whole thing, right? So now, knowing our targets now that market will buy to that point, now let's study the internal structure, right? Which is this one right here. What is the market doing, and how can we join the market to get to this point that we expect the market to get to, right? So that's just the second step or the next thing, right? And as you guys can see right here in this internal trend, we had an internal change of character right here. And the internal change of character actually happened after the market broke this external low right here, So right, this internal structure now tells us that okay, fine, market is now like retracing, right? Market is now retracing the short-term retracement to the external part of interest before the continuation of the whole other flow of the external structure. All right, I hope you guys are following. All right, so right here, this is an internal structure of character that tells us the internal retracement of the whole thing. Right here we have a break of structure of the internal trend still, and here we have another break of structure, right? And if you guys can see very well, the normal external part of interest that we expect the market to like get to, which is this one right here, it doesn't really have an inducement, right? So this market right here moving close to that part of interest but doesn't mitigate it should tell us that okay, fine, this is an engine of liquidity, and this tends to be an inducement for the part of interest, which is this one, right? Because normally, I mean, it doesn't really take anything from the market to just like mitigate the supply zone once and for all and continue to sell. But then the market actually moved very close to that, but they did not mitigate it, right? So that's what tells us that we are still bullish, right? So even though we had a very crazy sell, the market doesn't like take out this protected low before the bullish continuation. And mind you, we are going to like take out this high. We're going to like take it out sooner or later. Can even be next week. No one knows, right? But then that's just it, by the way. So we had another break of structure right here, right? Retracement. Then we are actually anticipating another break of structure. You guys should have it in mind that that is an inducement, but then just take it as we expected another break of structure, or the market taking out that high, right? So this is just like the overall thing of the current trend, right? The market is actually very bullish, but then you can't really just jump into the market with this structure, right? We need more information about the whole thing, about how the market is moving. I actually like need precise entries from the lower time frames, right? So we head into the daily time frame right now, and we see the whole thing that is happening. I mean, it's pretty much straightforward, and it's not really that hard to actually decode all of those things. All right. So right here we see that the market actually gave a sweep of liquidity, right, before actually heading to break the structure. After the break of structure, if you guys check, I don't know, if you guys like just like search through the time frames, you see that we have a part of interest in this region that the market actually mitigated. And even after the mitigation of that, we had an internal change of character right here that confirmed the whole buy, mitigation or retracement back to the part of interest before the overall buys. I can remember this was last year. Was it last year or last upper year? I got this particular trade. I mean, this was the particular trade I used to like flip. What was it? $70 to $2,000 in life of Sabi Girl that time, 2023. I really don't know, but I really hope you guys can remember that. This was a particular trade I used to like flip, I think. So we had an external break of structure right after the whole blah 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 that happened right here. We have an external break of structure. So after the external break of structure, we should now mark out another external part of interest where we expect the market to like retrace to and then continue the whole bullish thing, right? Because it doesn't really get to where we wanted it to get to, so we still expect bullish movements, right? So, and if you guys can remember, right, we were actually anticipating the market to expect this part of interest, right? Because we have a lower time frame mitigation right here. So I was expecting this low to like work, or this supply zone, this demand zone rather to work, right? Because this low right here actually mitigates something right here. But we had a reaction from there, but eventually it failed, right? Market actually moved below it, right? And then we now choose to like mark out this particular part of interest right here for the market to like come respect, right? And if you guys can see that very well, we have a mitigation of this demand zone after the change of character of the previous mitigation, which is this one. We have a change of character right here. We have the mitigation of this demand, and then here is actually where we had the sweep of liquidity. I hope you guys can see that very well. Right, so we had a sweep of liquidity right there, and then we can just like use this one right here as maybe like our inducement or something like that, and then this low right here with then should be the protected low, right? Because that was the low that actually sweep liquidity, and this was the low that like give the previous or the last mitigation. All right, so the market moving below this low, right, we actually like validate the whole thing, right? But to be more safe, this was supposed to like be the like last low of the whole thing, right? But then that's also by the way, and I can remember very well that I actually dropped this particular analysis for you guys where I like mark out this part of interest where I'll be expecting bullish movement, right? I mean, I could just like resend that now, maybe after this call. But actually, I remember I dropped this on the Telegram channel for you guys, right? So ever since then, after the investigation of the spot of interest, you have been bullish all along, right? But then that's also by the way. But then the thing is, I'll be actually be sincere with you guys. I never really see any good confirmation at the investigation of this thing right here. And of course, I can't really just take anyhow entry, right, or aggressive entry in higher time frame like this. The stop loss will be very, very huge, right? Though, I mean, what I will be targeting will actually make a lot of sense, which like leads to like a very good RR. But then I was not really interested in just like jumping in the buy like that, right? So I couldn't just take the buy. So I just like got it to re-entries, by the way. Not, I didn't really get an entry from here, but then that's just that. So after the mitigation of the spot of interest of being bullish, and this was supposed, or this tends to like be our target, right? So we just need to like keep buying until the market gets to this point, or even the supply zone, right? So that's just that about that. So after the mitigation right here, this tends to be where the market like give us the confirmation for the buy, right? This is an internal change of character, right? This is actually where the market gives us a confirmation for the buy. So now that takes us to the 4-hour time frame, right? This tends to be like the external change of character, right? And this right here was the internal change of character, right? What I mean by internal and external change of character is just like the market. It depends on, the structure that the market actually broke, right? This one right here, all right, this one right here was the external structure, right? That the market actually come take to like give it like a yield confirmation that we actually needed for this whole bullish move. But this internal structure right here, this structure right here, all of these ones that are here, you guys will see very clear, and maybe like all of those 1 hour 45 minutes, all of those things. So this is like the real internal structure, right? But then mind you, this internal structure right here doesn't really tell us or like certify. Basically, what the fuck is certify? Sorry, pardon. So this setup right here doesn't really confirm the overall bullish movement, right? This internal structure right just confirm the bullish movement to the external part of interest, right? Because basically the markets can still give us an internal share of data right here, and then still come back here to come respect this external structure, right? Only this internal chain of data right here just like tell us that, okay, fine, the market is like ready to buy, right? So the market being ready to buy can just like buy to like the external structure, which is this one, and still continue to sell, right? So basically this internal chain of data just like give us a short-term confirmation for the buys, right? Market just going to like buy from here to like the next spot of interest, which is this one, right? So the external chain factor will be the one to like give us the overall confirmation for the buy, right? So as you guys can see right here, we have the internal chain factor right here. The market actually expected the supply still, and later broke it through after a whole lot of everybody. Pardon. So yeah, that's just about that, right? Like I remember very well that this point right here, when the market was currently at this point, it was actually just like disturbing everybody. No one really knew exactly what the market is trying to do, right? Because it was ranging, it was moving up and down at the same. It's actually like showing us buy, showing us sell at the same time, and bro, it was fucked up, right? But then after we broke through, everyone knows that, okay, fine, market is now bullish. I actually like notify you guys on the Telegram channel too, right? But after the whole thing happened, I actually like backtest this thing and see exactly what happened, right? After the internal structure, after the internal structure of character, which is this one right here, after that one happened, right, the market actually buy to the external part of interest, which is this supply zone right here, this region, right? We actually had the supply zone right there, maybe the 12 hour, 3 hour, thereabout. You guys can check it out. So after the market give us internal structure right here, the market actually buy to this part of interest, right? I should have known, basically, because this is a pot of interest, an external pot of interest for that matter, and basically this is the only pot of interest that can pull price up, right? Because we actually, this is an extreme pot of interest. Of course, this is an extreme demand, right? This is the only pot of interest that we have left that will expand price to the upside, right? So me getting an international investor should like just give me everything I wanted to just confirm that pot of interest. I could have just jumped on the entry after this international of character. Because I know for sure, basically, if the market even if the market wants to buy, the market wants to like respect, or the market wants to like retrace back to the pot of interest that actually sponsor the change of character, maybe it's internal or external, anyone actually, right? Wait, can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can.
All right, making a bless. I did talk for it. I got it. All right, so all right. So after this literature of character, right, the market actually gets to this extreme, to the external supply, and then now giving us cell reactions and all of that, right? And basically, we have two good entry opportunity from this particular thing right here, right? Because I can remember that we have a supply zone that actually got mitigated right here, right? So basically, you can see right here, the market gave us this internal of character, right? We had a supply fail actually because this was tends to be a supply that broke structure. Mind you, this is like the internal, this is like an internal structure, by the way. So this is like a supply that broke structure, and after that, you can see right here, market retrace back to that pool of interest, right? Reacted from it, but later broke it through. That's a supply or demand fail, basically. That's like what we call like power transfer or stuff like that, right? And that's like tell us that okay, fine. The buyers, I mean, basically, like the sellers are still in the market and they're trying to like continue the viral sales of it, but it seems that they're like a little bit exhausted, right? I mean, the buyers in these demands right here now like overpower them, right? That's just like why this sell reaction right here doesn't break structure, but later, that supply and later got respected, right? So that's just like the whole thing that actually happened after the market gave us a little reaction from this supply zone, right? So now after that, now you now know that okay, fine, market is like now bullish. Even if the overall structure is not not bullish, but at least we're going to like be bullish till the next mitigation of any pool of interest, which of course the pool of interest is this one, right? And as you can see right here, I mean how crazy this Gbpusd is, or whosoever is controlling this is like we had a very near mitigation right here. I mean, a very near reaction around the pot of interest right here, but doesn't mitigate. And if you can see very well, we did not really have any inducement at the supply zone, right? So this actually got a whole lot of people confused, even me. I'm not even gonna lie, right? Because I was like, okay, fine, the market creating an inducement for this is like giving the sell a whole higher probability. And even I have this thing that I will not like trade against any trend. I will not anticipate the change of trend until it actually changes, right? So even though I have the market mitigating the pot of interest, I would not stop trading with that structure until it actually change, right? Because I really don't know what the market might do. I mean, basically the market can just like still break that pot of interest, of course, right? So in as much as like I'm following the overall trend of the market or the overall order flow, I really don't like high anything, even if the market mitigate any pot of interest, all of that. Right now, to be in the silver side, I can just like like move out of my position and then now like really like study what the market is just trying to do in that pot of interest after that mitigation and all of that. So basically with that or the reaction of the market, I can just like what you should likely do next, right? But that's just that about that. I mean, it's just like yeah. So after this whole thing right here, you can see right here, this was the demand zone right here. This was the demand zone that like sponsor this change of character right here. So I really don't know whether I came back here to mitigate. Maybe like no, it doesn't really mitigate a breakout block. I really don't know. Maybe we have a demand zone right here in this region. I have no idea about that. And you can see right here that the market came back here to mitigate this demand zone after the whole move to these points right here. Right, market come back here to mitigate this demand. Right, now give a proper mitigation of this supply zone. Right, a whole lot of people sold here and high too. I sold actually. Right, so even the market like taking out this low right here give me more confirmation for the sales. Right, but then that was trading. Right, so after that now the market like now buy to like a particular demand zone right here in the 45 minutes time frame. I can remember very well because the whole thing just up and down again. So we can actually buy from the demand zone right here and then I'll continue to move to the upside. But actually I was very smart, right? Because at the same time market like showing us bullish reactions and bearish reactions at the same time. So I just need to like just join in with all of the opportunities I see. If I see bullish opportunities or bearish opportunities, I just like join the two of them, right? So if anyone goes wrong, I'll be taken out in break even and then I'll like follow the one that actually goes right. You understand? Right. So that's just like the whole thing about it. So right after that now, yeah, after the mitigation of this demand, we had an internal share of character, which is this one. But that just one internal share of character doesn't really confirm my whole position, or doesn't confirm what I would just want, like what I want to do, right? So after we had the international filter right here, the market mitigated something right here. I think that's like a breakout block or something, right? After the mitigation of that, okay, like broke structure, right? After the break of structure again, market mitigate something right there again, still break another structure, right? So I was now like impressed, or I was now like a little bit sure about the buy after the market like take out this external high right here. I really don't want to get you guys confused. So all of this internal and external high, I mean, I think I should like just say it less, right? So after the market take out this high right here, I was not like a little bit confident on the buy, so I just like risk it. So I got a buy position from a pot of this right here. Let me show you guys that real quick. If you guys go to the Telegram channel, I actually dropped it, so you guys should be able to like see that. Even it's not like a very good pot of interest, but then I was just like, so this was the previous mitigation, right? After this normal break. So after this break right here, I was like, get a good entry with this thing right here that happened, right? So it was from this demand zone actually, right? And my stop was actually at this low right here, because this was the low that would give the previous mitigation, and of course it swept liquidity, right? You guys can see very well, can see that's a sweep of liquidity right there. So that's actually where I put my stop. All right, so that's what's about that. And even after the reconstructure again, you can see right here, after this reconstructure again, you can see the market still give us another entry opportunity at this demand zone again, right? Before the whole move actually started. So this is actually where the whole bullish move started, right? But then me, I was not really holding that long, because I was expecting maybe after the external blah blah blah, the market should give us a proper re-entry, but that never happened, right? So you can see the whole bullish movement actually started from me, and I remember I took profit from this external high right here, right? So after that, you can see we had a whole little range, and then another very 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 crazy expansion to the upside, right? So that takes us back to the higher time frame, right? After we have another expansion to the upside, and I think this is actually, there's a demand zone right here. If you actually go to lower time frame, you'll be able to like refine this demand. You see exactly what the market indicated right there, but never catch it, because that's not like a well priced of interest for me, so I really don't have any business with it. All right, so that's actually what happened. Then we have this external pump to the upside, right? After that pump to the upside, we see the market act like reacting or creating a little range right here, of which make a lot of sense. But then it was not really, I was not really interested in this whole thing right here. I could have gotten a buy right here, but then instead I got the buy on Euro USD, right? Hello, can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, right, as I was saying, I actually apologize for the network break, right? It was actually my fault. So as we had the expansion, all of this point, right, from this point right here to this region, right? Yeah, so it's actually market was actually like a little bit ranging, right? Of course, I'm not really interested in that, right? So I like got this overall buy, this buy that happened right here. I got it on Euro USD, not on Gbpusd, because this current price right here is like crazy, right? And I really don't like stuff like that, right? So now then I get straight to the business, exactly how I got this buy, right? So after this small buy happened, and we have a real drop, right? I know that I can find this like a opportunity for a re-entry, right? So I went back to the daily time frame, right? Get to the daily time frame, I see that we have a particular pot of interest in this region, right? And we have a breakout block right here in this region. So we having a breakout block right here, because basically me, I really don't like trading directly from a breakout block, right? If I see a breakout block, that means there should be a supply, or there should be a demand, or even if it's like a fair value gap in that current point, in that spot, but maybe like in a different time frame, all of those things, right? So basically I went to like the weekly, just like see the whole thing. I see that basically if you get to when you get to the weekly time frame, this whole region right here was its demand zone, right? Even to this point right here, this is actually where demand zone actually ended. So that's that tell us that okay, fine, this is the overall pot of interest, right? We just have to like refine it to the lower time frame and see exactly where the market is like turning around from, right? So that takes us to the 4-hour time frame. Basically I was just like looking for any possible pot of interest in that whole in that whole region, or basically. So I have this demand zone right here. Right, this demand zone was actually mitigated. If you guys, I don't know if you guys can see that, but it was indeed mitigated. It's a very, very small tip right there. So that should tell us that okay, fine. The next point of interest is around this region, right? But if you can see it right here in this 4 hour time frame, you see that this right here, this is not a valid demand zone, right? So just like continue searching. So going to the 3 hour time frame, you can see that we have a very clean demand zone right here, which is this one, right? So this demand zone is like next should be, or this is actually why I choose as the next point of interest. There's actually smaller in the 2 hour, 1 hour thereabout, but then that's just it. So basically this is it in the 2 hour time frame. This is the demand zone, right? So you can see right here, you can see we have a break right here, which makes it looks like a breakout block in another time frame, but then it's a demand, right? So actually mark 2, right? Because I actually like mark this one from this 2 hour, and then I mark the demand zone right here from the 4 hour time frame. So that's like the couple of pot of interest I was like interested in buying from or looking for confirmations in. All right. So after the mitigation of this first one, we had a little sweep right here, and then a take of this eye right here. Right. Of course, that's what doesn't really determine the whole bullish stuff, right? Because you can still like mitigate the supply zone right here and sell off, right? So this is just like an internal share of character, and the market taking out this eye will like give me confirmation I wanted, which to like make it like an external change of character or like a supply fill, stuff like that, right? And as you guys can, if you guys can see that very well, we had a supply zone mitigation right here, right? You reacted from it and then still that breakage through, right? So that's actually why I call supply fill. Actually, like talk about that before. So just like a power transfer, right? The market is now like, I mean, the power is now being transferred from the sellers to where the seller to the buyers, right? Because the sellers actually tried to like pull price down, but they couldn't, right? So the price actually like grew back up and like just expect the supply to actually go that the market reacted from, which is this one, right? So you can see that the market actually take out the high of the supply, which is not just like a week, but then it can't body, right? So that should like tell us a lot about the whole thing that actually happened right there. Okay, so that's really like gives me the confirmation for the buy. So I was not like looking for an entry, right? So I went to the 1 hour time frame and see the previous investigations and everything that happened, right? And if you guys can see that we had a demand mitigation right here, that's right after the change of character, right after the internal change of character, right? You can see right here, this is actually where the change of it happens. You can see the market came back here to this demand and then mitigate it and then break structure to the upside. So after that, we have a break of this one. We have a break of this one, right? But after all of those things, we never really had a proper mitigation, right? We never really had a proper mitigation because all of those things right here, they are not valid demands, right? Actually search them through. They're not valid demands. This is the only valid demands that we have in that whole region, right? And I mean, if you guys want to like take a trade, right? If you want to like take a trade with a structure, you should know that it's actually very important for you to like know where the previous mitigation is, right? Where the previous mitigation is, even if that place doesn't have a sweep, that at least should be where you should like take as maybe like your protected high. If it doesn't have any liquidity above it or below it, depends if you're buying or selling, right? I mean, that actually depends on the scenario, right? But then the previous mitigation should be where at least you should be looking at as maybe like a protected point, right? Because market moving below that might be like a change of character, and in some cases it might just like be its liquidity sweep. So you should know exactly what you're doing, right? Because it's not always the same thing. I mean, it depends on the scenario, right? So this was the last mitigation that we had with this bullish internal structure. But then now actually like what's it called? Confirm the bullishness of this particular market, or like confirm the buys. But then I need an entry, right? So first thing first, I just like to like look out for my discount and premium pricing. I said okay, fine, this is actually where the 50% is, right? So at least I should like be looking for buys exactly at the below of this whole thing, right? But then I really never see any pot of interest exactly at the 50%. So I just like need to like look for pot of interest in this whole recent trend, right? So I have this demand zone right here, but and even I think actually all of those things happened like a couple of weeks ago, and I see a lot of people actually trying to buy from this particular demand, but they really don't know how to like place that stop, right? A lot of them actually got stopped out before this will move, right? Because actually like some of them put their stop at this low, right, at the low of this demand, Some of them put the stop at the low of this low right here. I don't know, maybe because they wanted to like get a very high reach to road or something like that. But then they were wrong, right? Because none of these things happen. I mean, none of this move right here had a mitigation. This is the only mitigation that we have in this whole thing, right? That should tell us that, okay, fine, we don't have a mitigation. What if the market wants to like, sweep all of those lows, or just like use one of those lows as what's it called, a pot of interest, right? Because it doesn't really mitigate anything. At least, I mean, it can go anywhere inside of that whole trend, and you won't know exactly where you want to like, reverse from, right? So you just need to like keep yourself protected. But I mean, I can put my stop loss right here. Why? Because this is not longer the valid. This is no longer the last low. This is now the last low, right? Because after we have an internal trade of right here, this is actually where the market gets to before breaking structure, right? And mind you, it's mitigated something. That should tell us that, okay, fine, market is like following a structure. It's just like something like this, right? Something like this and this, right? This was the last low the market gave us. The market mitigated something at. So this was supposed to like be the protected low, right? Even if you have a reaction right here, this was supposed to be the protected low. Why? Because the market doesn't mitigate anything right here, right? So the market not mitigating anything right there should like tell us that even if you have this whole thing right here, I mean, anything can still happen, right? But then the market should not move below the low to actually give us the last mitigation, which is this one, right? I know you guys can see very well, we had a little sweep below this one right here. So that should like give us the sweep of liquidity right here, and that's like give us more confirmation about this being the protected low of the whole bullish move, right? So the next thing we should now do, like, look out for the possible pot of interest, right, that the market can just like buy from. And if you guys can see that very well, we really don't have any good pot of interest right here apart from this demand zone. It's broke structure, but the issue is it doesn't mitigate anything, right? So we can't put our stop loss right here because market can just go below it. What if there's a pot of interest right here that we can't see on our normal time frame, right? What if there's a pot of interest right here that the market is like disregard this one to come mitigate? What if there's a point of interest here? What if there's another one here? We really don't know. But then we just need to like be safe, right? Even if the market wants to like go mitigate anything, it shouldn't take out the protected low. Even if you want to like do anything, maybe like any of its mitigation, any of its sweep and all of those things, right? So basically, you guys knowing exactly where you put your stops is actually one of the crucial things you should know, right, in your technical analysis, or like when you're analyzing, right? Because you might actually get the setup right, and then you might get the entry wrong or the execution wrong, and that will like spoil everything, right? So in that case, now you still like lose money in a particular scenario where you're right. It's crazy, right? So this was like where I put my stop.
Wait, can we ask a question?
I think you should do that after this whole thing, right? Just calm down. Thank you. All right. So this was like my protected low and of that, and then my entry was here because this was the demand zone I can see around, right? Though this demand zone doesn't have an inducement, so the market giving me like an additional liquidity right here, just like an extra formation of the whole thing, right? So I got my entry right here. And my stop at this point. Some pips below this one. So it's around 42 or something like that. Yeah, 42. Which is very good. Stop loss rather. And I was like targeting the inducement of the external pot of interest, or like the high from the daily. If you guys can remember that, right? You can see I was not really interested in like targeting this one, right? I mean, a lot of people might just like tag that as being greedy, but then it's technicals, right? I mean, I actually know what I'm doing, right? Because basically, you know that it can actually happen where we have a structure right here, and the market to like retrace back to like a demand zone right here before the bullish continuation. It can happen, but I am very, very much ready for that, even if it happens, right? So that's the thing. And mind you, I mean, I've taken out a whole lot of money from this particular trade, right? So the one left there is just like, if it happens, it happens. If it goes, it goes. All of those things, right? But then I really want to like catch the whole move. That's the whole thing. So like the reason why I'm like targeting this inducement is because for sure, right, market is going to come to get the supply zone, and this supply zone like will now determine the next fate of Gbpusd, if we are going to like be bullish, I mean continue the bullishness, or we are going to like be bearish, right? And any of those things will like possibly happen to maybe next what's it called, next 2 quarter, or like I don't know, see, maybe like 2026 even. Excuse me. So right, that's just it. So we have the code structure right here. Of course, it's like this internal structure right here. So I was actually anticipating like come take out this now high sooner or later. Of course, that can happen maybe like this coming week or next upper week. Who knows, right? But then, if it's give us a retracement right here, maybe like following this because structure right here, maybe like it wants to like regain its power before the full blown to the upside. You're still ready for that. You can be able to like get a re-entry in that scenario too, right? So I'm actually like very ready for anything that happened. Maybe you have a retracement or like a stray move to the put up to like the way target just like this point. All right, so that's very much what happened on GPUSD. It's actually a very simple and straightforward trade, right? But then a whole lot of people actually got taken out because even before the whole move started, we have a whole of reaction from that out of interest, right? Market going to deep profit, coming back to entry, deep profit, coming back to entry. So like my own, so like I was like shaking. I'm not even gonna lie because it was very crazy. I think there was a tariff news that night, and it was actually it was very crazy, right? Because I'm not even gonna lie, I was like risking a whole lot of money on this particular trade, right? Because it looks like a very good probability for me. But then before the whole move started, we have a whole of emotional pull and all of those things. But that's it, by the way. So that's pretty much everything that happened on GPUSD. But then GPUSD. But what will I be expecting in the nearest future on this particular pair? And it's actually very much straightforward. And as you guys can see right here, the structure is still very bearish, right? And then we have this to be the next spot of interest, right? And if the market actually like mitigate this point right here, give us a good bearish structure, of course we are going to sell, right? And if the market break it through, we are continuing to buy, right? Why do I say that? Because as you can see right here in the daily time frame, the market is like what? Market is actually bearish, and we expect the bearish continuation to like eternity or something like that. But then if you guys go to like the 3 months, no, let me go to 1 month. If you guys go to like the 1 month, you can see that this external low right here, right? This external low right here has been taken out, even though it's with a week, right? But I mean, it's like the external structure, so that shouldn't really count. Maybe it's a count body or it's a week, that shouldn't really count. This is like a 1 month time frame, right? So the market like taking out this low, that might tell us that okay, the market is just trying to like, because as you guys can see, this was the structure, right? That's like tell us that okay, maybe the market has to come back here to come mitigate maybe like another supply zone before the whole bearish structure. So if that happens, if the market is like coming to like come mitigate something, can be maybe like this breakup block or something like that. If the market is like still coming back there, it should definitely take out this high. And for the market to like take out that high, it needs to like buy to that point. And for the market to like buy to that point, it should break out of this current bearish structure, right? So the market is going to like take out this high, give us a little retracement again, the full expansion to this region. So anything can happen, right? Though we're actually sitting more on the sells, but anything can happen. You guys should just like try to like open your mind. That's what I do, right? I really don't fix on any particular direction, even though that's it's my as high probability, but then I still give chance for if anything happens, what will I do? I just like to like plan all of those things so I get any possible scenario so I can exactly know what I will do if eventually any of those things happen, right? So that's pretty much it, right? But then I will be expecting bearish reactions from here, right? If I get a bearish reactions, of course, we're definitely selling from this point right here. So the last low right here, which is around 1.03599, right? But if that doesn't happen, we are definitely buying to around 1.721, 72280, right? So that would be like the target. So we just need to like keep buying until the market get there. And if the market wants to like sell, we need to like keep selling until what market get there. And mind you, GPUSD is like one of the simplest pair to trade because the structure is whole is very, very on point, right? It's actually very simple to decode and all of those things. So expect the best from you guys. Of course, I mean, I will like be updating you guys on the channel by the way, but this is just like a head up, some will possibly happen, and I think you guys should like take advantage of that. So I think that's pretty much everything, and you guys can answer questions. Kenneth, you guys can answer questions first.
So I wanted to ask,
Alright.
There was a structure.
Please, can you be fast with the
structure
questions,
you,
please? We have just 15 minutes.
okay, there's a structure you showed us. Is it a must that there will be a mitigation or a sweep before the break of structure to confirm the formation of the new structure?
Yeah, that should be like a normal break, like a change of character. But in this case, it should be an external change of
Okay.
character.
Okay.
You good? So next questions, please.
Yeah, Chairman. Yeah, bros. I was going to ask if you recorded like the first call, if at all.
Sorry?
Like I was going to ask you if you recorded the first call before you left.
Yeah, I recorded everything. I'll just like cut that off now and post it on YouTube.
Okay. You could try send and give us for Telegram.
Yeah, I'll post it on YouTube. I'll send the link to Telegram. Okay, everyone will watch it.
God bless, bro. God bless.
Alright, next questions, please. I mean, I actually think the whole breakdown is very simple and straightforward. I'm not really expecting much questions like that.
Yeah.
So there is it.
Yeah, the breakdown is simple and straightforward.
So anyone with any questions, please.
I don't know if you have time to look at the chart for us.
No, we have around 11 minutes left for this week also expire.
I don't know if you already spoke about this, but how do you identify your POV?
How do I what?
Identify your POV, your point of view.
What's POV though? You mean POI?
Oh, point of interest, yeah.
Right, I mean it's very simple, right? Just normal supplies and demands that broke structure. As simple as that. Alright? I mean, it can be more harder than how I said it, but then that's pretty much it. Just normal put of interest. Supplies and demands, fair value gaps that like broke structure, like that follows the other block. The other flow of the market. Kenneth Ogunzi, can you ask a question, please?
Hello.
Hi.
I wanted to ask a question. I don't know if it's related to whatever you just told us now.
Go on, please.
Like when it got to that point of interest, like how can we get a confirmation? I've been wanting to ask you this question for a long time. How can we really get a confirmation?
It's simple.
Because
right. I mean, it's actually very simple. Right. This is exactly what will happen. If not exactly, this is pretty much what might happen. Right. When we get there, I mean, when we mitigated the point of interest, right, like this, market just like give us a little retracement before the final mitigation or the final push to the point of interest. Right. Market will come back here to like take out this low. But when taking out this low, which like won't confirm the whole thing, right? Because market will just like take out this low, give us a retracement back to the suppliers that sponsor this international of character, and still come back to this demand. The demand that sponsor this break of structure right here and still spike up. Right? So just only this new factor right here can't save anything. It can't really give us the full confirmation that we needed.
Sure.
Right? Market to like take out this low. But if you're actually smart, right, you see the footprints even before the market gets there. You see the footprint that the market is definitely coming to like take out this low. I mean, it will just happen and you'll be able to like, I don't know, but I think you should have it. I mean, it's like show yourself for real. Like it will show yourself. I swear.
okay, but that's not actually what I meant. What I meant was like this place we took the trade from now,
Yeah.
This point of interest that I took the trade from. Like when it got to that point of interest, how do we get the confirmation that okay, this is the
Just
point of
normal
interest,
change of
okay,
character. I think I broke that down.
back.
Just normal change of character. Right? You can see after the first mitigation actually happened right here. Market give us a sweep.
And the change of character, I'm sorry, is it going to be in that same time frame or a different time frame?
It can be a different time frame. Of course, I can't be looking for a change of character in this 3 hour. Right? You can see it doesn't really have the change of character that happens in this 3 hour is like around this region. Right? And after that, the market doesn't give us a chance for a re-entry because the market doesn't retrace back. Right? Because so if you're looking for a change of character in this particular time frame, you're definitely going to like miss this whole trade. Right? So you go to lower time frames. right? Because there is no way the market wants to like change or the market wants to like reverse or change a particular structure that it won't show on a lower time frame, right?
Yeah.
That's actually where the market is going to, and of course it's linked to like reverse or linked to like change the whole structure. So you should be able to like identify any move or any possible move in the lower time frame, right? So this particular one actually happened within the 1 hour and the 15 minutes time frame. So you can just like just switch along and see the whole thing.
Yeah.
Simple.
Bros.
Thank you.
You're welcome, brother.
Yeah, Chema.
Boss.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, like, if you normally go to if you ever use the 5 minutes time frame.
I use 5
or
minutes.
let's
I use
say
5 minutes, of course, but it's on rare cases, right? Especially on GU and AU. I really don't use them a lot. I mean, I can just like use 5 minutes if I want to like refine a particular part of interest, but I don't really go to 5 minutes like go choose part of interest or like choose a structure, all of those things. I think that was like one of the mistakes I made last week on GPUSD, right? Because I was just trying to like trade a very stupid internal structure like that, which is like around this region, right? I think I like dropped the setup for you guys too in the group, right? I was like trying to like force a buy from this point, and I really don't really like trading internal structures, all of those things. So you can see right here, it's moved below this low, and then can now come back to the demand so that has already been mitigated, which is this one. Then it comes still buy from there. So really, I mean, all of those things doesn't really have. They really don't. They don't coordinate with themselves, right? So I really don't try. I don't like forcing it. So I don't trade internal structures like that. So I don't trade 5 minutes. But of course, if I have a pot of interest from like the 30 minutes or the 15 minutes, but it's like little bit big, I can go to the 5 minutes, like refine it, right? So that was different.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Next questions, please.
Boss. I want to ask you your day trading.
I can hear you.
How do you mark it? I want to ask you your day trading. How do you mark your daily bias? Because sometimes market might be going uptrend, but it can't be going uptrend for a while. But how do you?
The thing is, I really don't like I really don't mark daily bias, right? Because I really don't trade every day. Maximum of trade I do take in a week is like 3. Right, that's the maximum trades I do take in a week.
I beg you to do the talk on your mic.
Oh, these people. So basically, maximum of trades I do take in a week is like 3, right? So I really don't like mark out daily bias. I just like mark out exactly where the market is going to and follow it, right? And that doesn't really happen daily. The weekly movement will happen once, right? Weekly movement will happen once, and I really just like take advantage of that. So I really don't like I really don't mark out daily biases and all of that. But I mean, if you're a scalper or basically someone that trade every day, you should be able to like do that, and basically you should just like know exactly where the market is heading to, know the current structure that the market is like creating to like get to that point where it's going to, then try to like just jump in on that structure, like take advantage of the whole thing. It's very much simple. Next questions, please.
But me, I want to ask, how long have you been trading, and what was that thing that changed everything for you?
I've been trading since 2021, and I would say what's changed everything for me is like trading less. Yeah, trading less, pretty much trading less, and having a logic behind every trade. I mean, a very whole story behind every trade. That's very much as simple as that.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome, sir. Next question.
So, Chairman, anytime you confirm your POI, do you normally use limit orders to get into like trades?
It depends.
After you spoke.
It depends, right? Because I don't really get where they go. I don't get where I do. Right, so I'm always on the chart. You get. So basically, sorry, it's kind of funny though, but then that's the thing. So I really don't use leaving the orders that far. But then if I will be busy or if I'm going somewhere, I can just like of course use that. But most of the time I'm like always on the chart and like monitoring everything, so I really don't miss it.
Alright. No, thanks.
But of course you can use limit orders if you're like a busy person that you're not really always on the charts or you have other things that you're doing. I use limit orders. But I mean my case is different.
No, wow.
All right, sir. So we have a couple of minutes before this class end. Just one last question. Any question? All right, I think that's pretty much everything for today's backtest with me or backtest video. Just like backtest is anything. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.